I bet you want to know how to make the smoothest, most silky chocolate ganache. In this video, I'm letting you in on my secrets. Hi, my name is Shivesh. I'm a baker, author, and this is my how-to series. This is the ultimate beginner's guide to getting your baking basics right. I'll be talking about everything from whipping cream to chocolate ganache, caramel, and so much more. So let's start by understanding कि chocolate ganache है क्या. So traditionally, ganache is made using only two ingredients, egg chocolate and cream. And obviously, if chocolate and cream are both going into something, it cannot not be heavenly. Chocolate ganache can be used to decorate cakes, cupcakes, to fill in chocolates, to coat your donuts and eclairs, and for basically everything. So you could make your chocolate ganache with any kind of chocolate. It could be a couverture or a compound or chocolate chips. Some of the trusted brands are Caribou, Regal, Amul, Valenier, or the most commonly available Mode. You could make a dark chocolate ganache, white chocolate ganache, milk chocolate ganache. My personal favorite is dark chocolate ganache. And also I had done a blog post on different brands of chocolates available in India. I'll leave the link for that in the description box below. Let's talk about cream now. So mostly in my kitchen, I make the ganache using fresh cream, and the brands that I mostly end up using are Mother Dairy and Amul. But you could also make your ganache using heavy cream. The brands that you would find commonly in the Indian market are CHOCOLATE and Rich. So one of the most frequently asked questions is about the ratio of the chocolate and cream going into the ganache. Now it's very important to understand that each ratio would result in a different consistency, and the ratio of the ingredients going in would depend on the purpose that you want to use the ganache for. So come, let's understand कि कौन सा ratio of ganache कौन से purpose के लिए use होता है. So the first and the most popular ratio is 1:1, where you put one part of chocolate and one part of cream. This ganache is used for dripping cakes, dipping donuts and eclairs, and filling in chocolates. So the second ratio is 1:2, where you add one part cream and two parts of chocolate. This ganache is mostly used to decorate cakes and cupcakes. I mostly end up making this particular ganache because I really like the consistency of it. इसको अच्छे से pipe करा जा सकता है, and I love using it for decorating my cupcakes. And the last ratio is 1:3, where you put one part of cream and three parts of chocolate. It's super thick and it's mostly used to make truffles because it doesn't melt easily. So there are three popular ways of making chocolate ganache. I'll come to the other two later, but first I'll start by showing you my preferred way of making it, which is over a double boiler. So to make the ganache over double boiler, I'll start by placing my saucepan with water on medium heat, and I'll heat it until the water comes to a slight simmer. So when you see small bubbles around the edges of the water is when you take your heat-proof bowl with the chocolate in it and you place it over the water. Make sure your chocolate is chopped evenly and that the water doesn't touch the surface of your bowl. This would ensure that your chocolate melts slowly and evenly. Once my two parts of chocolate are melted completely, I'll add one part of cream. And I'll mix this well. So once my chocolate and cream are combined completely and my ganache is smooth and silky, I set it off the heat and now I let it cool completely. Ganache बनाने का दूसरा तरीका is to heat cream in a saucepan and then pouring it over chopped chocolate. Now the only problem here is that a lot of time your cream gets burnt and you don't realize it, so you need to be very careful about that. The third way is to make the ganache in a microwave by melting the chocolate in a microwave safe bowl. इसमें you need to take out your chocolate every 10 seconds, give it a good mix, but इस way में the chances of burning chocolate are high, so which is why I prefer doing it over a double boiler, because your chocolate is melting from indirect heat and it's melting slowly and evenly. Since we're talking about ganache, I also wanted to share the process of making whipped chocolate ganache. So technically the procedure remains the same, but in order for your ganache to whip up, you need to make sure that the cream that you're using is a heavy cream and has a minimum fat content of at least 30%. To make whipped chocolate ganache, you need to let your ganache cool completely and then use an electric mixer to beat it until it becomes light and airy and the color starts to lighten. You can then transfer it into a piping bag and use it to decorate your cakes and cupcakes. Another question that I get asked very frequently is how to fix chocolate ganache. If your ganache releases fat, the right way to fix it is to use a hand blender to blend it so that it emulsifies. If your chocolate ganache has chocolate chunks, the best way to fix it is to heat it in the microwave and mix it well after every 10 seconds so that the chocolate chunks melt and your chocolate ganache is nice and smooth. Now let's talk about storing the ganache. Always store it with a piece of plastic wrap pressed against the surface to prevent any film or crust from forming. Keep your ganache refrigerated at all times. Ganache can also be frozen for up to 1 month, but before using it, remember to thaw it in the refrigerator first and then let it come to room temperature. So now you know the secrets of making the smoothest, most silky chocolate ganache. If you have any more questions related to ganache, you could leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you found this video to be helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with more videos where we'll discuss the how-tos of baking.